In this video, we're going to look at how you can create agreements in the software. To start with, you must be logged in with administrator rights to be able to access the various agreement components. You're going to go under Settings and Tools. And you've got two different components to look at. The agreement wording, which is where you're going to create the wording for your contract itself, and the agreement section, where you're going to create your different agreement or membership types. Let's take a look at agreement wording. In agreement wording, you're basically creating Word documents with fields that are then filled in when you sell that agreement to a client. Let's take a look at the membership agreement that we've already created. We click Edit, it's going to bring the membership agreement up. Here we can edit the name, give it a description, and then down below is where we create the actual contract itself. So in this case, by inserting various fields and text that you can format in different ways, you can recreate your contract digitally. The terms in parentheses are fields that have been used that are going to insert information from the client and or agreement to create the customized contract. The various fields are on the left. There's master fields with things like your logo, company name, and the staff who sold the agreement. Then you have agreement fields. These are all the fields that would be used for various payment information, terms of the agreement, dates, various information that you need for that. And then down below, you have client fields. So this is all the various client information that you may want to include in your contract. So by simply creating the text that you want and inserting the various fields, you can create your membership wording. Once you've got that complete, you're going to click on Agreements, and here's where you can create an actual agreement itself. So in this case, we'll add a new agreement. This is going to bring up a blank template that you can then choose what you want to do with. So here, we're going to create a 1-year bi-weekly agreement. You can give it a description if you want, and you can choose whether this is an in-house account. Now in this case it would not be. There's a question mark here which pops up information about that. So an in-house account is basically used only for making purchases through the POS system where clients can charge it to their in-house account. So we do not need to check that in this case. You can choose whether you want to apply an agreement discount. This would apply on the point of sale system if a client has an agreement where this is checked, that they've purchased. There are items that you can choose in your billing system to apply a various discount to. When the client purchases those items through the point of sale, it will automatically apply that discount. You can choose whether the agreement is auto-renewing or not. In this case, we will make this an auto-renewing agreement. We'll maybe add that to the name as well. Then you can choose whether there are any packages associated with this agreement. You can do a one-time package, meaning that the client would receive any items in the package selected one time when they purchase this agreement. Or you can do an each payment package. So this would apply the package selected each time a successful payment is made on their agreement. So in this case, if it was bi-weekly and you chose a package of one personal training session, for example, then one personal training session would be added when every bi-weekly successful payment is made. Next, you can choose the payment type. Paid in full, paid in club, means that the client would be paying the full amount of the membership at the time it's created to the club through the point of sale system. Then you have monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, quarterly, and annual payments, as well as a single payment, which is similar to paid in full, except it's not paid in the club at that point. It is sent to the payment processor to process, which happens that evening. You can now set the duration of the agreement. So in this case, we're going to select, because it's bi-weekly, we're not going to use 12 months, we're going to use 52 weeks. We'll set the payment type as bi-weekly. Now you can choose what your default agreement dues are. In this case, let's make it $19.99. You can choose what your admin fee is. So this is a one-time fee that would be charged at the time the agreement is created. If you do charge a card fee, you can enter that here. Again, it's a one-time fee that's created or generated when the agreement is created. And you can choose a cancellation fee. This is a fee that would be generated if this contract were to be canceled prior to the end of the duration. It would automatically generate an invoice for that client, in this case for $200. If you charge annual or enhancement fees, you can set what the amount is here, and then you could set a default date that you want that charged on. So if it's to be charged every July 1st, you would set that here. If you want it charged on the anniversary date of the agreement, you simply leave it blank. And you can do up to 2 annual fees. Then you're going to choose what taxes are associated with this agreement. You can choose whether or not you want it displayed in the virtual store. So that's where existing clients can log in, select that agreement, and purchase it online. Most agreements you will want to make sure that the upgrade type to client is checked. That means if you have a lead or a prospect in the system that purchases this agreement, it will automatically upgrade them to be a client. Then you can choose what fields are locked. As an administrator, you will always be able to edit every field when you sell that agreement to a client. But if you want your front desk or sales staff to have restrictions on what they can edit, you can simply check that here. So in this case, we do not want to allow them to edit the dues or the admin fee, but maybe we'll allow them to edit the card fee. We're going to lock the cancellation fee and the annual fee that we've set up, plus the one that's already blank so that they can't input a new annual fee. Next, we have the payment processing link. This is a link that's generated for every agreement in the system that allows you to then sell your agreements online. So on your website, you could create a sales page, have a description of the agreement, create a Buy Now button, and then associate this payment processing link to that Buy Now button. That will allow clients to fill in their content information, payment information, agree to the wording of the agreement online, and purchase it, which will then add them as a new client into the system, and they're basically set up from there. It's different from the virtual store in that they do not need to be an existing client, and it will create them as a new client. Then you're going to select what agreement wording you're going to use for this agreement. And then finally, you can choose if there's any unlimited sessions that are being offered with this agreement. So in this case, if the client or the client purchasing this agreement were to get unlimited bootcamp classes, you would simply select that. And then they would be given access to an unlimited number of bootcamp classes. To select multiples, you can use the Shift button, or you can use the Control button to select various ones. The inactive is only used if you are no longer going to be selling this agreement type. It will not inactivate existing clients with this agreement. It will simply no longer show this agreement to be able to be sold by your staff. When you're done, you just simply click Save. You've now created your agreement, and you're back to your agreement page that has your full list of all your agreements. And that's all there is to creating agreements in the software.